What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
Mighty good man.
Yeah! So, Entourage, what's on the schedule for today?
I have responsible then for Halo.
I love Halo. I love Halo so much, I want to take it out behind the middle school and get it pregnant. Oh, who just killed me? That's never happened before.
I did, Mr. Jordan.
That's impossible. I beat all the world's best players. Grizz.com, my publicist, my stylist.
Well, I just killed you again.
You're cheating!
Puppy dogs and cheerleaders, it's TalkRadar 29.
Well, be gone darn. It's TalkRadar 29, divisible by nothing.
Wow.
We're sitting here today with Brett. Say hi, Brett. I'm Christopher. This is...
Baby sound effect.
I didn't have it ready. Hold on.
This is Brett Elston.
There you go. This is
Michael Raparez.
Michael Parts, and I have cues for the next two people. Hold on. Rob, special guest. This is popular, so please just endure it.
Charlie.
It keeps being requested. Yes, Charlie Bear.
It always makes me tear up a little bit.
I don't know why people like. I guess I have a song request thread where you request songs from video games, and people request that.
You should make a music video.
They like it. I'm gonna put it up. It's gonna. You know what? I'm gonna make it available somehow as a ringtone, which has also been asked for. I have no idea where you'd want that thing to ring. But a very special guest this week. Excuse my dorkdom, but I had this in a dream the other night, and I had to play this sound effect.
Wow.
I did. I had to. We have Rob from PlayStation, the official magazine. Rob Smith.
Honored to be here. But it's not quite as good as that Charlie intro. That Charlie intro is awesome.
Yeah, well.
I didn't have a lot of time. We are recording on a Monday.
You need to get your name involved in more YouTube clips.
That's right.
But Rob is also here. We're going to talk about later in the second break. Rogue Leaders, History of Lucasarts. I do have a sound just because we found out the hard way Brett does a fantastic R2-D2. Oh, I hope everybody listened to Pole Position Parody.
I wish you could open the book and that noise comes out.
Well, there's microchips and gift. I will scream for food. I'm not opposed.
Dude, that was
You may have to soon.
Yeah, with the way this.
be louder.
I need a new planet.
All right. Oh my goodness,
We're also giving away a very expensive prize.
we are. We will tell you about that at the very end of this break, and not 2 hours into the podcast like we did with the last contest.
What of the 30 games we gave away with WWE? What's
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. I don't think we picked winners, but we'll announce them next week. That is solely in Shane's hands. I don't want to hear any bitching if you didn't get a game. My goodness, it's 30 games. I think we have one Wally winner, but I'm not ready to announce that yet.
I don't know.
I'm actually gonna send.
I think the Wally winner knows who he is.
Yes,
I'm above and beyond the call of planting one tree.
Yeah, we had somebody plant one tree with a Games Radar tag. Plant anything organic, and you know what? Yeah, keep looking at the forums. If I can get more copies to give away, I will. But this is the most expensive single prize we've ever given away. So stay tuned. Yeah, but I have a very special intro to our top 7 this week.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's some
There we go.
Some would say it's not special, but racist. But I had Shane temper it with a disclaimer because we didn't actually make this.
Good. This should be most enlightening.
What makes the red man red?
When did he first say up? Why does he ask you how?
Why does he ask you how?
Disney made this movie.
Thank you, Shane.
Wow.
I love that song is always stuck in my head.
I was worried you were going to play the whole thing.
No. I did last podcast. I don't want to.
Peter Pan?
God.
That is Peter Pan.
Wow.
What makes the red man white? Squaw, no, get him firewood, Brett. This is a different era.
And that's actually one of the least racially offensive things Disney has done.
No, you haven't seen the thing they edited out of Fantasia, which was a
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm too scared. But yes, and I will refrain from my Native American character we brought out last week, which Shane and I think we named Buffalo Cornfoot. Is the
I thought it was Bone Squaw.
No, not the Indian character. Bonsoir is the French wrestler.
No, Bone Squaw.
Bonsoir. Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
What is it, people? Is it Bonsoir or Tatanka Cornfoot? Maybe he'll come back next week when it's.
So the top 7 this week
Yeah.
was the top 7 Native American stereotypes, just in time if you're in the United States for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, where you don't celebrate Native Americans in any way.
Yes. Celebrate the corn they taught us how to grow.
Maize, they called it.
The maize.
You celebrate them as a vague concept that
That's
used to
right.
exist.
Indians turn into your grandparents, and you have dinner with them.
Number 7 on the list is the token Indian, as what's the word? Represented by Sergeant Frank Delgado from Clive Barker's Jericho. I played a little bit of Jericho and I liked it. Very straightforward, but I don't remember this character
Well, there you go. He's a
very
token.
clearly. It must have just been a very token, like, oh, by the way, I eat bones or whatever it is he does.
Over there, people are coming.
I thought you weren't going to do that.
So good. Failed again.
Isn't that the guy who like keeps his arm in a box or whatever it was?
What?
Arm in a box.
Wait, so what, since he's the token Indian, I'm sure they had to make sure you knew that he was. It's like, hey, we're being very racially diverse and sensitive, so how did they let you know that he was
He's
Native
a
American?
minigun-toting shaman possessed by the fire spirit. Oh, I remember this guy. Yeah, yeah.
Every time he came on screen, a pan flute played.
A Peruvian pan flute?
Yeah,
No,
honest-
I've been meaning to play this game. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it still worth my time?
yeah, I think it's really fun.
Oh, Rob's shaking his head.
I don't know. Does it have achievements?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Does it have achievements?
No, it's
You
a
mean-
really fun, completely linear single player. It's fine.
That's what with you and this completely linear kick you've been on. Like you really like games that are just like linear corridor shooters.
That's what video games used to be. Yes.
Yes,
After
and then
playing
they expanded and became better.
After playing non-stop free roaming games for like 8 years, I like when a game.
Yeah.
Like, say,
yeah, but
here,
it's just you keep bringing that up as a plus, and I think
It
you're
is
the
a
only
plus.
person I've ever heard bring that up.
in this environment, it is a plus. Gears is linear.
Yeah,
I
I
would
don't-
actually like it if Gears wasn't linear.
Well, you'll get your wish.
I don't know. I mean, I there's so many free roaming games where I don't know where they're going to end.
Oh, I
I
don't
kind
want
of
to be
like
free
following a
roaming.
story.
It could just be non-linear.
Can it?
It could just have like a little bit of space to move out and a few branches, and it doesn't have to be completely open world. Like, oh, I'm going to take Marcus over to the sandwich shop now, and then
well,
later.
that sounds great.
I still think we'd call that linear, but that's okay because our next entry is very special and linear.
This is the hunter from Turok.
Ooh.
I guess I'm actually surprised more of the representations aren't all just the bare-chested hunter foraging for foods.
I just wanted to thank Joe McNeely for showing restraint by not putting the Indian from Custer's Revenge in the top 7 at all.
Yeah, I noticed.
After you
I noticed.
repeatedly insisted he do exactly that.
Yes,
I know
it would,
one of the comments said, "Oh, you forgot Mumbo Jumbo from Banjo Kazooie,
he did.
and you also forgot Custer from Custer's Revenge."
He's not an Indian.
and then follows that with, I mean, Custer's female victim,
my mistake.
She didn't have a name, right?
not one that's repeatable.
Even I'm not old enough to remember that.
Well, I do kind of like about the article that Joe's kind of picking on like stereotypes rather than like he's holding up specific characters as an example, but it's really just like, oh, this stereotype and it's embodied by this character rather than it's like
Although
this
I have
guy,
to
this guy,
say,
this guy.
you pick one section of the populace and come up with 7 stereotypes about them.
Well,
I don't know. Doesn't that just get
Yeah, I don't have 7 things that make me special.
There are more than
after you have like 7 stereotypes? Aren't they really diluted at that point?
That's
Like,
a well-formed person, possibly.
yeah. If I have all these traits, it's like, oh, shit.
I mean,
Well-
assuming they're all positive.
And if this is all they're one person, they're all having they're a hunter, they're a token, they're a shaman.
they're token. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We are.
Well, the point of the article is like usually they're one and none of the others.
I was going to say Pulitzer, but
Like Turok in all the games is really much like, I don't know why he needs to be fighting dinosaurs, but he is.
I think it's important to note that the Native Americans, when they hunt dinosaurs, they use all the parts of the dinosaur.
Well, that's when they were found, I believe. That's why the dinosaurs
Even the spiked tail.
killed them all and used every part of their body to make teepees.
Yes.
That's right. Even the spiked tail is used to keep their women in line. Wait, you know what?
Speaking of which, number five is the sex object, who is Tala from Dark Watch, who actually appears in Playboy. Nude.
That's a crazy image.
Giant quotes, nude.
That's why she reminds me of that fantastic Seagal movie on Deadly Ground. There was just a nude Indian in it. I'm sorry, Eskimo.
That is such an unsexy picture in this article. It's like, oh, I really like my women with no pupils.
That was such a horrible character too. If any of you actually played that game,
All she does is try to. All she does is try to bang the main guy, like the whole movie or the whole game.
yeah, well, the thing is, there's like nothing between them until suddenly they're banging, and it's like they barely said 2 words to each other up until that point.
So it's
Like, how did this happen? How did we end up banging?
Yeah, it's like, oh, so they're fucking on a mountainside now? Okay.
So it's episode 2.
Yeah, basically. And there's something about sand thrown in there. I don't know.
Sand.
How's number 4, the warrior, different than the hunter?
Because one is a hunter-gatherer, and the other battles.
The other takes the fight to them.
That's right.
The other
Apache.
kicks asses.
The Apache, Charlie.
Yeah, that is kind of a dubious distinction. I
You
think.
clearly aren't someone who grew up on the frontier, so I guess we have to explain it to you.
Please.
Scalping, pretty much. That's it. Pelts and hair pieces. That's the difference. Wait. No, is it who are we talking about here?
Well, we were talking about Tala from Dark Watch, but I think we've moved on from her.
Charlie segued the hell into.
Yeah.
Number 4, the warrior, which is Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat 3, who has like the tamest fatalities, I think, of the whole crew.
I can't remember anything about.
That's all the DC
Actually,
characters came along.
maybe fatalities aside, the lamest thing before Mortal Kombat versus DC was animalities.
Yes,
I have Nightwolf's animality. It's awesome.
it's a bird, isn't it? Yeah.
Nightwolf wins.
It's a wolf. It's a glowing red wolf.
Oh, right. All the animalities are solid colors.
Lobo.
Yeah.
Lobo.
And interesting point of trivia: in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Nightwolf is the one who teaches Liu Kang how to do his anime.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh? It's my animality.
No, Nightwolf. I was surprised T-Hawk didn't make it in.
T-Hawk. Oh, right.
Nightwolf over T-Hawk.
How did that happen?
I can only imagine it was at McNeely's discretion, who's a street fighting hating motherfucker.
He just stands there and does this hand gesture that does not translate over the radio.
He was the biggest character ever. I was like infatuated with T-Hawk when I first got Super Street Fighter.
You did get in Chief Thunder though. That's pretty.
Yeah, I just have to step around the corner and go like, oh hey, also Chief Thunder. So I think that's why he's at the bottom of the list.
He does mention T-Hawk once at the very end of that.
That's right. Almost every complaint, or not complaint, where I was like, oh, I wish you would have included the guy from Call of Juarez, but nobody remembers Call of Juarez but me, because I reviewed it. And but I wanted to ask everybody here, because I had to look into this, Mark of Cree.
Oh, but that's not. He's not Native American.
It's not, but is it not presented like it is?
No,
I don't think so.
Well,
Seriously,
it
has Native American. It's Polynesian.
Well, it's sort of Polynesian / Maori / Chinese.
Yeah.
They were very insistent on this isn't a real world setting. We're just kind of making our own fantasy thing here.
And if we included him, we'd have to include Ty, the new character in Gears of War 2, who's got the Maori tattoos all over.
Spoiler for Rob and I, we haven't played it yet.
Thanks. Well,
I
that's
know.
because it's not on my
Spoiler.
system of choice.
There's a new character in Gears of War 2, sorry.
Do they also die?
And he dies.
Stop, Charlie. Edit,
You asked for it.
edit. Oh,
And then
man.
everyone else dies.
Michael.
A Locust and Marcus saw each other's heads off at the same time.
Number 3
I'm just kidding, I
is...
haven't played it.
Ugh.
Was the head being sawed off? Best I could do.
If any of our listeners have not played Mark of Cree, that is worth tracking down. And
Oh,
probably-
absolutely. Like, I brought 4 games out here, and I'm embarrassed to say what every one of the other ones are. But
Mr. Mosquito.
one is Mr. Mosquito, Mark of
theirs.
Cree.
Okay.
Ignore the terrible sequel, Rise of the Kasai.
Yeah.
You just want to play Mark of
Which
Cree.
every time I go to GameStop, I'm like, Michael, if you see Rise of Kasai, tell me. He's like, why?
We're so tempted because it's.
I haven't played it yet. I loved Mark
I haven't
of
played it
Cree.
either, but I hear it's terrible.
Oh,
I was all excited when I got it because I loved the first game, and I started playing. It's like, God, this is just dismal and everything's gray and brown, and I don't care about the characters and the
Didn't
action.
they scale it back big time because it started off? It was going to be the whole game was supposed to be co-op online on PS2, and then they're like, "Oh, actually, we can't do that for 5 more years."
I just remember the look of at least the cover reminds me of what they did with Warriors Within, Second Prince of Persia. Does that figure into the just stupidly dark gameplay?
No, it's not even that. It's just kind of boring.
Really?
You can play as either Rao or his sister, and then the other character is like an AI partner, but it doesn't really add very much either way.
Son of a bee
And
sting.
of course, she's all like, stealth oriented, so it's like, yeah, great, I get to sneak around now.
Because she's a girl and can't fight.
That's right.
Yes. I guess that's the implication from that.
She walks with a soft step. Foot binding in the Polynesian world. I am tired of talking about
Number 3. Number 3, I'm not sure how is a stereotype the half-breed.
that. In a lot of movies, you couldn't have an Indian protagonist in older westerns unless they were somehow half, because otherwise they weren't really welcomed into the other villages. And Gun kind of played into that archetype, but Gun is fucking cool, man. I really like the story in Gun. It was really violent for something that looks really crappy. I don't know who else has fond memories of Gun. Hands up. Yep.
I didn't play it.
I would if I'd played it, yeah.
Only Charlie and Brett get their hands down. It's like $10 use on the 360. You get achievements for. Just saying, Charlie.
How many did you get?
A lot, like 750 to like 80 or something.
How long did it take you?
Gun, I probably finished it in like 2 or 3 days.
Okay, I'll play it.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. Charlie and I are in achievement battle, Rob. I don't know if you have trophy battles in your own.
With all 12 games.
With all 12 trophies. Gotta catch them all.
It is possible to actually do that.
I am the resident sort of trophy hall for PTOM, and I'm level 4, and I've got 30 odd, and that's bad.
I have 1, or 2.
In what? What was it then?
Pixel Junk Eden. I don't know what I did, but for some reason I completed level 5 all the way, even though I made an effort to complete every level all the way through. Whatever. Pixel Junk Eden.
Nobody has yet done the press start, earn an achievement in the way that the Simpsons did it, and nobody's done that yet with any of the trophies.
Right.
But it needs to happen.
That's what I was saying. They're a little harder to earn usually.
Yeah, they expect you to, I don't know, play and finish games.
And then they don't even give like a 5-point value. It's like, this is a bronze. You might as well just throw it away.
Well, like I noticed because Premier's Edge, I did that runner's bag guide and had to compare them. They're identical. They just distributed the hierarchy different. Like a 10-point achievement is the equivalent of a bronze trophy.
Yeah.
Have you seen it in home yet? Like how they look at home? Don't you have like a trophy room?
That's the theory.
Oh,
Very.
If anybody's on home now, you'll find Games Radar US3 dancing the chunky salsa.
Except no, you won't, because it got disconnected due to inactivity.
We left this guy there for hours dancing in the same place and home, and we attracted quite a large crowd.
I want Michael to describe him. 'Cause he was special. He was something special.
Yeah, he was just, I was kind of in a hurry and faced with this wealth of character customization features. My impulse was to make the ugliest creature I could.
He succeeded.
So I gave him like a huge face but a tiny head. And he's just like got these enormous jowls with like this walrus mustache, and he's like got a buzz cut that's pink, and I just put him in the trashiest clothes I could, which wasn't that hard because there's only like maybe a dozen different combinations you can get with the outfits in that game. But
Leave the black wife beater though.
yeah, the black white beater, and then
And the headphones, those are important.
I wandered around for a little bit and just started trying out the emotes and found the salsa dance, which is
The salsa dance is awesome.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's
that
like
what
just
that
this weird little shuffle where he's kind of just waving his arms around, and it looked horrible on him. And so he's just
he's a little
I just-
overweight.
I just decided to leave him there doing this in the middle of a public space, and eventually, like, people started coming by trying to interact with him. They started, doing their own dances or just waving or shouting insults or whatever. One guy like made his avatar look exactly like mine, and just came up and he's like, "You're hot. I love you."
He's like, called me.
Yeah.
He was like a pretty chunk from Goonies.
The best part about that dance is that he always looked at the ground like he was just concentrating so hard on his feet. Like I've got to get the next foot.
I took pictures of it because it was really when you were away at a meeting, and just like people would come up and dance for a while, get bored, and you'd be alone. And then I turn around, and there'd be like 6, 7, 8 people next to you, or there'd be a girl. One time there was a girl who was like walking up to you and checking you out, feeling the situation out, and would get a little closer each time. You were saying it's a social experiment, and I couldn't stop watching it. It was just bizarre.
What was the one where somebody very slowly walked away, but it was like extremely slow?
Yeah, he backed away.
Yeah, it was like a bit like a 1 millimeter tilt of the analog stick, just barely walking away, extremely slow.
Does that sound familiar?
I think it was
you thought your avatar could hurt him.
It was the copycat. I think he was walking away slowly because he's really hoping that you were going to say something to him because he had gone through so much to make himself look like you.
I did give him a few emotes, but I said nothing.
But he said that he loved you, and you did not return the "I loved you."
I didn't. I just waved.
And speaking of
dancing.
number 3 in the top 7,
Oh yes, we were speaking of that.
Wow! How funny that.
Before we go to number 2, I'd like to point out Joe, the author, made a funny point that the URL that the Association for American Indian Development, the URL that organization used to ban gun, is now taken over by ads for rape porn.
Oh my god!
What?
Yeah,
for ban gun?
They wanted to ban gun because of all the scalping and the excessive violence towards Apache. But now the URL that they had used to say, like, take that game away, and it's now rape porn. So,
well, that's what happens when you let a high-profile URL expire.
Yeah, I really am sick of the rape porn conglomerate.
You're in the pockets of big rape porn.
Oh, man, watch out, Cheat Planet.
They have their Washington lobbyists.
Number 2 is The Scout, as evidenced by Brave, the Search for Spirit Dancer. Michael, did you play this game?
I was going to say
did, actually. It wasn't that bad.
It looked really pretty. I had never really heard or seen it before this.
I somehow get this game and Rough Trigger confused in my head, and I don't know how that happened.
Because they came out, or at least they were both these early PS2 games that were both kind of under the radar, not very good, that we were covering. Actually, but Brave was okay. They were both okay. But Brave is a weird case because it was developed by Sony Europe, I think. It was picked up by South Peak for distribution over here, and it took forever. Every time it'd get close to the release, the day before, they would just suddenly decide to delay it. And so,
I remember that, because you had a review written forever.
Yeah. It just sat there, and finally it posted 2 months before it was released, and nobody cared. So
I might have cared had I known. I wasn't working here yet.
I mean, nobody at South Peak, the publisher, cared.
Ah, okay. Are we ready for number 1?
Number 1.
Hold on.
Number 1.
Number 1 is The Shaman, as you'll see in Prey, from a guy named Tommy.
Hey, come on, Prey was good. You played a little bit of it.
I played the first level of Prey. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that.
I remember how astounded people were with Portal, and even I forgot I had played Prey, which kind of started that premise. Well, Portal was in development forever, whatever. But yeah, they was doing the Portals long before Portal was.
They showcased that stuff, I'm telling you, years and years ago. I still have floppy disks from the, Talon Brave was first shown, that 3D-ROM sent out, on floppy disks.
Wow.
Did I just say
floppy
that?
Disk.
What's a floppy
disk?
disk?
Oh, right, because
they
started Prey 15 years ago or something.
Yeah,
we're going to go into your background next break, mister. Floppy, I can't imagine getting anything in a floppy disk now. If I said I don't think we're allowed to cover you anymore.
Well, I know they used to, something about old magazines, they would have it was weird, microfilm or something, and you'd had to scan them or something. I don't know. I'm talking like I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Did you see this in a spy movie?
Shit, yeah.
And when you had to cover stuff, you had to wear latex masks of someone else.
No. So yeah, apparently number 1 is The Shaman. I don't. It's I guess I remember the opening of Prey. It's just a guy, because your character wants to leave the reservation horribly.
Yes.
And the other guy who's in your voice is, it's very scary out there in the real world. and that, I didn't get anywhere else in the game, so I don't know what he actually became of it. Oh, he dies. He gets impaled on the shit.
The old man, his grandfather?
No, right away in the first level. He's like,
we can spoil it. I've seen it on your desk for probably 2.5 years now. So
on my desk?
Yes, I'm not afraid to spoil it for you. But the opening, I have never finished this game, but I've played the opening several times because I think it's a lot of fun.
It's got Don't Fear the Reaper in it, doesn't it?
It's got Don't Fear the Reaper. The roof comes off the motherfucking joint. The Don't Fear the Reaper, literally, thanks to aliens sucked in, your grandfather's impaled, your girlfriend's in danger, aliens, portal, small, shrinking.
It's really much it's like the Half-Life opening, where it's like you kind of just going about your daily business, and all of a sudden shit happens.
Everybody calls stuff like that a Half-Life.
I'm just saying as a compliment.
Okay, I thought you were trivializing it.
Oh.
That's okay. I like my Prey.
Can we name another game in the past that Don't Fear the Reaper was the opening music to? Come on, Michael, you out-trivia'd me on OXM's podcast, so...
I know you can.
Opening music too?
No fair Googling. I know we all have computers.
I'm sure Rock Band must use it at some point.
Both the Guitar Hero and Rock Band have used it.
Not as intro music, though.
Game Tech,
Wow,
Ripper.
Game Tech. What was it?
Ripper.
Oh,
Starring
right! Yes, I
Starring
played that game.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
And,
Ozzy something.
What?
Karen Allen.
What is this?
God, I played
Karen Allen?
Oh,
What the hell is this?
A full motion video PC game.
It was okay.
Yeah? Yeah,
It came
was
like 8 discs, and
Came out in 1996 from Take-Two Interactive.
I was a phantasm. Yeah, man.
I
I couldn't be
forgot
bothered.
about that. I remember
It also had Burgess Meredith.
That's right.
Get to the beacon!
And John Reese.
I'm a penguin rock. Kill all the enemies that drop this spirit barrier. Somebody's got the yellow key. Press the analog stick to move.
It also came. John Rice Davies is in that game.
Really?
Yeah, and it had I remember being very impressed when that game had Don't Fear the Reaper in it. I was like, this game, it's got everything. It's got Christopher Walken and a fedora. It's got Don't Fear the Reaper. It's got full motion video.
Oh, wow!
I was one of the few people impressed by full motion video.
No, I was too, but I couldn't afford to do it. I'm going to get into that when I talk to you about LucasArts, because my parents did not believe in games or computers, and I didn't get my own computer until I was 20 years old.
I was wondering what age you were going to say, because that age has fluctuated.
Well, we were
for
like
a podcast.
We were like 17, or I was like 16 or 17 when they got a Packard Bell without a Windows operating
Ooh,
system.
that was my first computer. With Packard Bell with 3.1.
And then a leading edge, free with some credit card subscription. They were all terrible computers that I was sharing with several other people. So I never got my own gaming rig until 20 years old. So I missed out on a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about. But we're going to go. I want home. So you say A or B.
What do you mean
A or B? A or B?
B.
B. A or B it is. What have we been playing a lot lately? Personally, Rob, I'm sorry this is not on PS3 right now.
What is it?
Left 4 Dead.
I haven't played it.
Well, the three of us have played.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and the biggest complaint about me is that I'm too aggressive.
Yes, you. I found this out too, but yeah, you had this idea to. I have a gun. I should run forward and shoot everything.
I want to hit things with my bullets.
Yes,
So I don't want to wait.
which I also
Brett's
found
laying out traps, therefore I should hit the button to make all the
I
zombies
see
stop.
you guys setting up the traps, man. I'm down there flanking. I'm the point man.
Yeah, but then I did the same thing the first 3 rounds, and at the end I'm at the bottom of most damage taken, top, most damage inflicted, bottom, most times died, bottom.
I'm always the first to eat tank, but Left 4 Dead, a lot of fun, and it does. I don't use my headset a lot. But in this case, it's broken, and I wish I could because I paid $30 for a messenger kit after my last headset broke a very short time ago. But it does require a little bit of choreography between the 4 players involved.
Yeah.
And here is a clip of why I have shied away from that.
Let's go through this way. Let's go through this way. Very quiet. Come on. You want to just make a run? Oh, fuck it. Fine. What do you want to do? You know what? Guys. Let's make a run for it downstairs so we don't have to worry about the cars. Go straight across the street and down. Follow me. Follow me!
This is from a YouTube clip called Brad's Plan in Left 4 Dead, and I didn't laugh that hard when I watched the video, but cutting up this audio is the funniest thing. If you heard me giggling at my desk all day, I was listening to this over and over again. So, Brad is the fearless leader. Let's see if things get any better for him.
Who got the car? Who got the car? Rescue me before I die!
That's where he's on the ground with
So literal it is, please.
What did he say? Rescue me before I die?
Rescue before I
that's
die.
the point where, after you're injured, you
Rescue me before I die!
have both pistols, and you can sit there and try to shoot guys as you're being revived, but if you get surrounded by that horde, there's almost no way you're getting rescued.
He's like, rescue me before I seek to live.
Oh, but you have to be in communication with your teammates. But I have one more clip. I think Brad's going to regain some of his dignity.
Somebody shut this car! Somebody shut this car! Help me! What's going on? Stop me, Bukaki! Why did you let this happen to me?
This is zombie.
I'm not making the plan next time!
How could this happen to me? I mean, it clearly isn't the first level of Left 4 Dead. You had to be a little experience. His plan was apparently to open the door and run to the street.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though is aside from his flavor comments, that's what happens every single time we play that game. It's like, well, let's go, shit!
And that's why I'm glad I didn't have my mic on, because that did happen to me several times.
Which, over the weekend, Michael and I were up till 3:45 a.m. Saturday trying to beat the rooftop area of the first story of Left 4 Dead.
Wow, I left you guys at 2.
Yeah, you jumped in at 2, left around 3, and then Michael and I kept trying on hard, and then finally had to do it on normal.
Uh-huh.
It was very sad. But after 2 hours at the same level, I am not above saying, well,
no, absolutely
I'm
not.
a baby. I like that.
Because I was playing, again, I said I was playing Dead Space on hard, mainly to get the achievement, which I knew. I knew it said defeat the game on the hardest difficulty, lowercase. It meant there was a harder difficulty than hard. I kind of knew that. And I finished, and of course, I'm getting my ass kicked. The game's taking 5 times as long as it normally would. I go outside to indulge myself in a little man tobacco.
I'm glad you said that and not something else.
I know, I don't want to say cigarettes, kids. That's not cool. Pot? No. Dope is for dopes.
Tobacco is wacko.
Tobacco is great.
Parentheses, if you're a teen.
And
which
this
I like that distinction.
I said that games aren't scary. Dead Space is scary. And then it's 3 in the morning, it's dark, I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and a moth lands on me. And the shriek that came out of my mouth.
I'm glad we're getting mileage out of that. That's good.
Okay. Holy crap. Hands up, who loves Dan Amrich? Everybody but Brett and Michael. Everybody but Brett and Michael. Dan, if anybody doesn't know, we played several of his songs from his musical outing, Palace Swap Ninja.
Yes, he did last week's Viva Pinata song.
Viva Pinata, that was
to the tune of
Penis Colossus.
Pina Colada. If you like.
And he did 3 red lights to the tune of 1 headlight. Dan has chosen to his band's latest project on this podcast. Exclusively, yes. And he's teasing this on his website. I would like everybody, if they care, and they should, to go to paletteswapninja.com, PALETTE Swap Ninja. I have trouble spelling palette sometimes, I'm just saying. Paletteswapninja.com. And this is a song, Christmas, based around the Wii. I don't want to spoil or say anything more than that, but Dan has devised a little contest for everybody.
And it's the aforementioned expensive prize.
The expensive prize. What we'd like you to do is listen to the song. It's about 3.5 minutes long. We're going to play it. Premiere it. World premiere. Oh, man. After this. Take the song. I'm sure if you go to Palette Swap Ninja's MySpace page, I think it'll be available on the website. Take the song. Make a YouTube video out of it. And I guess the people in this room plus Dan will pick a winner. And the winner will get a Creative Zen Vision W, W's for widescreen, 30 gig portable video and music device.
Looks pretty fancy.
This thing's $300, just so you know. I don't know, it's supposed to be pretty cool. Like, Eric knew exactly what it was when he saw it.
Eric is doing our holiday guide, so he's seen a lot of fancy stuff lately, and he's still...
Basically, like, if you're watching a movie on your iPod, as I have done, like, on long flights, it's kind of shitty because that screen is still pretty damn small. Whereas this is,
huge.
Substantially larger screen. It's about a PSP size.
Yeah, Rob, how big's a PSP screen? Do you know offhand?
4 inches by.
All right, I'm talking now. This is
Okay.
me talking.
Hold on, you were quiet then.
Yeah, sounds
This is
about right.
4.3.
That's about the same.
Yeah.
That looks about the same size. I'm just proving that it exists because it's actually in your hand and you're not just reading this off a piece of paper.
Whatever. It's still a pretty good storage device, and you can still store all your goodies without that proprietary iPod bullshit that is kept away from the system altogether.
So make a YouTube video, put it on YouTube, Post it where? How would they let us know?
Yeah, we'll make a thread, post it in the forums, and if you want to be safe, hit up PalletSwapNinja.com and post it over there in the comments section because I'm sure Dan will premiere it.
Dan might even talk to you if you go and post it.
Dan might even talk to you in a funny voice, in his Nico. Oh, it's no problem. Oh, it's no problem. It's an undetermined country. YouTube embeds you. Okay, we'll head without further ado. Our next break. This is Palette Swap Ninja featuring the mighty Dan Emmerich. We Christmas.
The hunt is on, the panic's here. You can't find weeds this time of year. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. The moon is bright, we're camping out. Get one tonight, or they'll sell out. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. The clerks at Walmart say they're gone. All gone, all gone, all gone, gone. You simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. I searched online, but eBay sucks. I just won't pay $500. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. The clerks at GameStop sing this song. They say the Wii's are gone. All gone, 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 all gone. I'll take it off my shopping list like Santa Claus. They don't exist. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Whoa. It's like I'm stuck on a waiting line till they're in stock in 2009. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Simply can't find a way around Christmas time. Christmas
I'm going to get
Are you laughing, biatch? You find it funny? You find it...
Welcome back, Lollipops. Segment 2 of the best Dern podcast out today. This being a weird Thursday because we want to give you all Thanksgiving break
We want you to be listening to our voices instead of listening to those of your family.
Exactly. Those
We are
nagging,
your family.
those nagging dipshits.
We're
at
the
your
only family you need.
similar facial features, and they share nothing other than that.
So, a quick aside for Thanksgiving, Carolyn and I had a long conversation about cranberry sauce, how I refuse to eat anything that's not in the shape of the can, and how her parents were like offering to make honest, cranberry sauce for the thing, and I'm like, no.
You know what I had last night?
And it's two different traditions though, because there's a huge section of this country that's like, I like cutting up a sliced can, and there's another side that's like, you barbarians.
I think
Go
there's
get actual cranberries.
I think there's a huge section that likes the cutting up the can where you're from.
No, exactly. I think that is it. It's the middle class.
Yeah, look at the look on my face and see if you can figure out which side I'm on.
You're on
You look delighted.
Foreigner who's adopted this holiday and can, but now hosts it. We just do both because we discovered that both are actually required by a very broad range of the country. So we slice and we make fresh.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my goodness, Scotty!
What?
Scotty Butt is dropped by for a surprise appearance.
I actually said that.
Of course, but jump on and just say hi to the people.
Hi to the people.
No. Give us something else, Scotty. What are you doing? Where are you going? Do you have a Rock Band guitar in your hand?
I do, because I'm going to play Rock Band at home.
That's it? You just
on your own?
Boring.
And interrupt our podcast?
I had to ask you.
On your own, in your underwear.
Well, I'll be naked, but yeah. Well, maybe socks.
Maybe socks.
It gets cold in my apartment. So.
I live in the area. I know.
I live in your area now.
And there's a picture painted for all this audience.
Brett Elston lives literally around.
Yes.
It's a small world.
I could throw a football and hit his front door.
He has, in fact. Well, eggs.
I
please
threw
do
AIDS
that
at you?
No,
AIDS.
AIDS for a septant.
I can't throw AIDS.
Nothing like a fistful of AIDS. Anyways, I'm gonna
gave me an idea for a comic book. An AIDS Hadouken.
Goodbye. Nice to see you.
What if I just moved it? Well, moving into new releases, shall we? The game. I saw something on GameSpot this week called Metal Gear Solid Meme Expansion.
That's the expansion for Metal Gear Online.
Online. I did not say online. Crap. Yeah, online. The online expansion, which I've never played, which I don't know anything about.
It's pretty detailed. There's a lot of people playing, actually. It's kind of this intense, detailed... And actually, on newsstands right now, to pimp something that we have, is a special issue of Piton that's the 2009 Cheater's Handbook.
Aha! I saw that.
And we did some pretty cool stuff with the Metal Gear maps, and there's all these lines on it to show you the best sniper points, and I don't know, if you're into it, you'll love it.
Yeah. Did you do the little... I love the heat spot thing that you did with the Halo maps, like where everybody's going to be congregated.
Right, yeah, looking because they put up those heat maps. You can see where people use the sniper rifle, where they got the most kills with sniper rifles, and he's like, "Oh, they're going to be there."
I do love a good multiplayer map. That's something I hate Print for, because they can do a lovely, lovely multiplayer map in a way that we can't ever do. Click it, maybe it'll get bigger. It probably won't, because we don't want to take that step.
Yeah, we took all those maps and then just got them annotated with all the details of where you should, where the camp spots are, where the choke points are. It actually works out really well. I mean, if you're seriously into Metal Gear Online, this will help.
I will be someday.
I've been told.
I'm going to crack open my copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 as soon as I stop using my PlayStation 3 as an amazing multimedia device.
Wait, I want to temper that, though, real quick. Temper a lot of things lately.
Hey.
Carolyn has all of Torchwood on a USB stick.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to watch it on a PS3 and plugged it into the USB. It doesn't recognize AVI.
Yeah, some of the formats don't work.
What the fuck? AVI? What a rogue format.
Everything is a different compression. I have AVIs that'll recognize and AVIs that won't.
I put it in a 360. Guess what worked?
I watch AVIs all the time on my PS3, streaming through the media server.
Yeah, it totally just said there's no files on the thing at all, even though there was like 12 episodes.
Are you sure there's actual episodes and files on?
Yes, we watched them on the 360. I was very upset.
Boo.
I was, because I really wanted to do that. I was like, I found a use for my PS3.
Oh, I loved it. Like
I will tell you, the streaming compression on PS3, terrific. I mean, really? I stream with using the media server stuff, and it does it really, really well.
My theory
in my experience, and
the Netflix thing on Xbox. Have you seen that?
Yep.
Lovely, no?
Oh my god, that really pissed me off too. We watched Office over the weekend. We watched a lot. Halfway through, it just keeps interrupting the play to say your internet connection has slowed, rebuffering. It did that twice, and it auto degraded it to a standard definition halfway through the episode. And I'm like,
that at all.
And I'm like, my connection's the fucking same. No one else is on it. It's just me.
Are you on DSL or cable?
Cable.
I'm on DSL, which is way shittier.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get any of those problems.
Anyway, let's move on.
I've had a great time. What I'd like to happen, the only thing I can see comparable to Netflix is watch now is Hulu, and I want to speculate that PlayStation is going to team up somehow with Hulu.
You know, you can watch Netflix through PlayStation 3.
I know. Yes, they just the Flash upgrade.
No.
Through the web browser.
If you use the certain media server software called Play On.
Oh, that's right.
It uses, because Play On streams your Netflix account through your, and if you use that PC as your media server using the DNLA, you can watch it through your PS3. But you're not supposed to hear that. I mean, it's out there. I mean, people can do it.
As I heard the web browser was updated enough to where it displayed Flash images of all. Where I say make the Hulu thing, I'm like, well, that kind of negates it because you could go to the website and watch whatever you want.
Well, flexibility. I mean, you've got DNLA support, so you can actually stream anything from your PC. And if your PC is showing, say, Netflix, well,
which this computer right here, I tried doing that with my 360, and it had the wireless router has never worked since. I have no idea what happened. Bye, Tyler. I can barely see you, but I know it's you because your Mirror's Edge bag.
The TNAG is leaving. Here's a Mirror's Edge bag.
Oh, that was pretty cool. How'd you get that?
What the fuck? I wrote the whole guide for that game.
The games industry.
God damn it.
Uh-huh.
All right, what came out this week? Jesus.
First, can you hear me, Chris? I want to.
Yes, I can hear. Okay. I can hear you, Honey Bear.
Give me the name of a game. I'll tell you the score.
I'm going to stump you with this one.
All right.
Chrono Trigger.
Oh well, our own Henry Gilbert reviewed
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
Which he was like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to give it a 10. I wonder if people are going to jump all over me. Like the first 7 reviews are perfect scores.
Well, you're wrong, but
I am.
GamePro gives it a perfect score, and 1UP gives it a perfect score.
Are you kidding? On the DS, check again.
I'm presently checking it as we're speaking.
That's why I hate doing it. I don't even know why I collect this information.
Nintendo Power 9, Game Informer 9, IGN 8.8, GameSpot 8.5. I beat Chrono Trigger in 96, and it's been that long. I'm really looking forward to playing through this again. It's one of the best. It gets a lot of hype, and it gets a lot of, it almost Final Fantasy VII level of, oh my god, it really is that good.
I was going to ask, does it have anything to do with being rare and like unavailable?
No, it was a mega popular, super produced. There was no shortage of this game.
I've watched it played almost all the way through it. My friends, I just never have played it myself. This will be the first time I play Chrono Trigger.
I think it's one of the best soundtracks ever.
As soon as I'm done Sonic Dark Brotherhood, I will jump straight in.
I think you should stop playing Sonic Dark Brotherhood.
I would.
I'm still in the middle of playing that game.
I would, but I accidentally bought it. With my own money for $34, which I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a snot. I'll never pay that much. I hate paying that much for a DS game.
What were you trying to buy?
Best Buy had a free $15 gift certificate. They still do. So you get a free $15 gift certificate. Meaning now I have to spend more money at Best Buy because there's nothing available on those store shelves that's $15.
Yeah.
I have to buy something else I don't want.
Sonic Chronicles is fine. It's not.
So do I.
It's not bad. Also, surprisingly good soundtrack in that game. Give me another game. What else came out this week?
Speaking of old skill, Elston, I'm going to beat you to this. IGN are the only people that have given this an 87. Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix.
God, this takes a while
Izzle, I think there's some other subtitles if you could get those.
Turbo HD
Supercharged
2 HD Supercharged Ultra Mega Man
PC.
Which I wanted to have Seth on here, who was in podcast 17, to talk about it a little bit, but he's not here. It's a fine game.
It's a game.
It's a really pretty game, and they
used
a lot of those OC Remix kids to make them use it.
Yes, the Overclocked Remix, which is ocremix.org, which is one of my favorite websites ever.
We get a lot of music we play on the podcast.
Love it. Everyone that posts on that site is a genius. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix is such an awesomely homegrown concept of that. In that Capcom US, I've mentioned this before, Capcom US owns Street Fighter. They can do whatever they want. They pitched this thing of like, let's completely redraw the graphics, have Udon the comic company redo the sprites, let's have
It's gonna be really hard.
Let's have fans balance and tweak the game to absolute perfection. Let's have fans remix the music, and this. I mean,
That sounds good. And I love that they admitted we didn't really take into account how long that would take.
Yeah.
This game, but I like that. This game has been gestating forever, and they haven't really apologized. I'm like, no, we're gonna finish it.
One thing I found out when Tim Ing from Capcom, who dropped the review code, he came by, and he mentioned the fact that they actually, I might be getting some of this mixed up, but they actually built in milliseconds of extra frames that, because they're there, when you play online, they'll be dropped because of the latency.
Huh.
But they're built in to be lost, so that when they're lost, you can't tell. And the game seems
wasted drawings.
Yeah, the game seems to be running at exactly normal speed, even though pieces of it are being lost. They were built to be lost. I'm not lying because that's what
I know you're not lying.
That's what he told me.
He might have been lying.
He might have been embellishing, but that's what they said. It's a gorgeous game.
Game's worth playing.
Definitely is.
Fabulous beat 'em up.
I like these releases, but they're all small, kind of remakey.
What else?
We had a bunch of big stuff, but I didn't know it would die down right before the holidays.
Yeah.
I know we still got
2 weeks in November are hell, and then the rest of the year is this week we had a new golf game.
I know because we said, what else do we have left? The high profile. We said Prince of Persia.
That's in a week or two.
Yeah, what do you think? Is there anything else I'm missing that hasn't quite come out yet, Rob?
Resistance 2. It was out, so.
Have you played Prince of Persia at all?
I personally haven't. That's been played by Gary on Astav, who just won't stop playing it.
Really?
To go back to our linear versus open world discussion earlier, isn't it much more open worldy now?
It's way more open.
You can go anywhere. Yeah, go any direction and do the sort of topics you have to do in.
I haven't played any of the next gen Prince of Persia games.
I did.
But I think I might play this one because I like the look of this one more than the very generic "I have no shirt" of the last.
I think
I don't know.
You should play Sands of Time.
Because anyone who knows me knows that I need some kind of hook to everything.
Dude, Sands of Time
Persia was a little too straight-laced for me, whereas this one's crazy design to the character, and I'm like, I'm in.
Sands of Time was not
I'm sure it's a fantastic
justified wall runs and slowing time and all that shit, which everything else after that put it as an affectation.
Yeah,
it means something in Prince of
Full
Persia.
Auto made a great use of turning back time.
I played the new Prince of Persia. It's not that I didn't like it. It's open worldy and everything, but I really felt like I was a part of my environment and even up to Two Thrones. Well, Shane made the joke because he was really drunk and obnoxious at the event.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, press X to play. X does everything. Doesn't matter where you press it.
It's kind of like Assassin's Creed. You just hold down one button and run.
That's not true. Quit knocking on Assassin's Creed. I'm really good friends with Jay right now. I can't have that.
I'm sure she's really happy with the podcast.
Shane,
oh yeah.
My friend, and I'm not going to say who, but a friend I know knows her pretty well now.
I saw the chemistry.
Okay, but we'll move on to something comparable. King of Fighters Collection Wii. What?
What?
I don't. Were they releasing that in this country? King of Fighters. I know. Again, I've said this 1,000 times. I know friends who play every old fighting game to this day. None of them play King of Fighters. I don't know.
Is this the Orochi saga?
There was a very long line at TGS for, was it King of Fighters 12?
TGS, I could understand that.
People going crazy over that.
Really?
And it's still 2D, and it's still sprites, and I guess there's something to it.
They don't have that bargain bin at TGS.
It was 11 remix. I think the here is
really could have used a combo breaker there.
I believe it is 11.5. Wait. We wanted to settle this. Are there 3 dash C's or 4 and combo breaker? You ready?
I think it's combo.
I think it's combo breaker.
I think the 4th C is the combo.
Hold on. Let's get ready.
It is 4. You're right.
Now do it in slow motion. Slow motion. I can tell.
All right. The only score for that King of Fighters Orochi saga is Nintendo Power gives it an 8 and says it's a great collection for those who still enjoyed.
I know, but
classic
Wii. Rob, how do you like controlling stuff on the Wii, dear?
Controlling stuff on the Wii?
Yeah,
that's kind of an oxymoron.
Okay, I wanted. I really.
Yeah.
I bought the system. I clearly wanted to play it, and it just everything turns me off about it.
It's still in the box, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, you bring it out when
I haven't
comes
turned it on except to test my new TV since January, and that's seriously embarrassed. And there's stuff I do want to play on it. I can't push other stuff aside.
What about the 6-axis? Do you find yourself using that very often?
Not if I can help it.
It's just, I think Saints Row 2 was like the last game to really use it, and even there it was completely optional.
How do you use it in Saints Row 2?
To control helicopters really badly.
Yeah.
I like what you were doing in GTA with it, though. It was just like the reload.
Yeah, that's the only thing I used it for.
Because it wasn't really intrusive and whatever. But
it's all intrusive. All that shit is.
Well, I just did want to point out that was their stab at the Wii PlayStation, which Microsoft's Me Too Grasp came out last week with avatars. But you have an article going up about avatars this week, Charlie.
It should already be up if today is Thursday, which it is.
It is. Today is totally Thursday. I have no idea. Best release of the week. I mean, it has to be if Elson's going to review it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Neopets Puzzle Adventure.
How many Z's are in that?
I think 17.
I like that Neopets was always already kind of ripping off a genre, and then they put a puzzle in it.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair.
Okay, be fair.
I will be fair here. I kind of hate it. No,
really?
No.
You actually came back from Capcom.
I
saying you liked
came
it.
back in May from Captivate. I think I already talked about this in podcast like
Podcast
3
8.
or 4. No, it wasn't 8. That was Mega Man podcast. I was in Canada. Know your podcast, sir. It's Puzzle Quest only instead of Bejeweled. It's Othello. That's it. Or Reversey if you don't know what Othello is.
Time to get moving.
It's fine. It's good.
Exciting dark horses of this week's releases, because Jesus Christ, I think I'm gonna have to use a certain CSI sound effect.
Right.
Are you ready for this, Charlie Barrett?
Not ready.
This is for you.
Okay.
For the Wii, Safecracker, the ultimate puzzle adventure.
That sounds pretty good, actually. I think there was a PC adventure game.
It's so
about
every time I have to
safecracking.
buckle down and be like, yeah, I guess it makes sense in the Wii.
Wait, this is for Wii?
Safecracker.
Is it just a port of because there was an old PC adventure game that was like you broke into London, the Tower of London, to get the crown jewels.
Rob, little help.
I'd love to, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
I just made that up.
I think he is. Yeah.
There are no reviews for Safecracker.
Oh man.
This came out October 15th.
My clock says it's not October.
Charlie's hitting the interwebs. He's trying to prove us all as
edit that
idiots.
out because I'm going to use the CSI thing again for Club Penguin Elite Penguin Force. So we could use the penguin word once.
Club Penguin Elite Penguin Force. That is
Elite Penguin Force. See, weren't confused. They were standard penguins. I know nothing about that game, but good. I'm glad we got the releases out of the way.
Also, no score.
Also, no score. Which again, we're posting early this week. That's why we're not seeing it. We normally broadcast on Wednesday.
I found Safecracker. It was a PC adventure game from 2006, and
2006.
The review references Gabriel Knight.
All right, no more. We're moving on.
We're all on the subject of Gabriel Knight since you brought it up.
Oh my god!
In the next issue of OXM, I think everybody should buy it because Gabriel Knight is mentioned by me in OXM.
Oh, what a surprise by you. I think you should be banned from ever mentioning that game again unless you do.
I'll back him up here. Okay, that's a series worthy of...
Well, I can't make Rob mad because we brought him on here to talk about his big bad book.
My big bad book.
You do understand that we all resent you, working in the same building and bringing the same editorial content. You managed to find time to write a fucking book.
Find time, yeah. I asked my wife about that. But
how long ago did this start exactly? This is what's it called? Rogue Leaders.
Yeah, what's it called? That'll do.
Rogue Leaders: The History of LucasArts.
It's the story of LucasArts, and it started in November 2006. Would you believe? So we're like 2 years in at this point. When somebody that used to work in this building on Games Business, when we did a trade newspaper, said, who was then a acquisitions editor at Chronicle Books, and he said, "Would you mind helping us out with this pitch that we're doing for the 25th anniversary?" And that pitch document turned into we won the pitch, which turned into a would you like to flesh it out, which led into would you like to start writing it. And
because you never worked at LucasArts ever.
No.
And you here alone, you've worked at PC Gamer.
Well, I actually go back to PC Games at IDG in '96 in the US. So
Did I imagine?
No, that was IDG alongside GamePro.
And you did the Xbox magazine,
right?
Like during its launch.
That was during 360 launch. So I was at PC Gamer 2000 till 2004, then jumped to OXM. So I went through OXM through the launch of 360, and then now at Python.
Now you're eyeing a seat at Nintendo Power.
Well, my very first gig in the industry was working on a magazine called GB Action, which was a Game Boy Action.
Game Boy.
I'm going to say 1993 because that's when I actually started in this biz in England. GB Action, and I was having to go to work and play Zelda on Game Boy every day, which was actually, I thought, the greatest job in the world.
Link's Awakening.
It was brilliant.
I can't disagree with you.
So.
But, because my first assignment was fucking Naruto.
I think my first paid assignment was Mega Man Anniversary Collection.
Gotcha. No, actually, my first assignment was Tony Hawk, which my I said, my parents never bought me a computer, don't know anything about video games. I told them what I'm doing. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I know you don't like buying me video games. Why wouldn't I want to do this? This is the stuff I had to save my lunch money for to play because you guys didn't like me playing video games. They don't understand that there's an industry based around it. And so when they send out a Christmas card, I say, I work at Games Radar.
This is one of those Christmas cards where they write the long essays about what everybody's doing.
Yeah, about what the family is doing. Christopher's working at PSM, PlayStation Magazine, so I apologize. My whole family thinks I work for you guys because that's what my parents saw in the house.
Most everyone in Illinois believes I work at Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was
so happy when this company bought Nintendo Power, and I was pretty much forced into one of the first issues because every time I tell someone what I do who doesn't know anything, I was in Games Radar. You mean like Nintendo Power? Yes, exactly like Nintendo Power, almost literally.
I say I write about video games, they look really excited and really jealous, and then I say online, and they're like, oh, and I'm like,
so about this book.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, Rob.
Rogue Leaders.
The last anecdote that did remind me, my friend was the captain of a softball team and misspelled rogue and became the Rouge leader.
Yeah.
Rouge leader.
You know what's funny is I was writing down the list on this piece of paper, what we've been talking about. I wrote Rouge.
and
then marked it out and wrote Rogue Leader.
And my friend gave me a burned copy of a game once. It was Rogue Spear, and he wrote Rouge Spear.
I'm just glad they got it right on the cover.
No, that LucasArts. I read almost the whole thing over the.
We haven't actually said the book is the history of LucasArts.
It is the story of LucasArts from day one in 1982 through present day.
What was their very first game?
Well, there were two that they released together. Go on, Chris, you answered. Just prove you read it, or you read the first page.
I did. I read at least that. Can we call it Rescue on Fractalus?
That's correct.
Yes, Fractalus, yo. Based on the Fractus engine.
The Fractal engine.
Based on George Lucas's independent film Fractalus.
Fractalist 183.
It was actually based using technology from Star Trek Wrath of Khan. If you So Star Trek Wrath of Khan had the Genesis scene where the Genesis thing does the whole big thing on the planet. That technology that was fractal technology at movie level. Well, the same guy that did that scene actually helped create the engine that did Rescue on Fractalus and Ball Blazer.
Which guy's that? Is that a
Lauren Carpenter? Is his name?
Carpenter. So what I liked about especially that first chapter is because I guess at that point nobody had made the transition to making games from another field, and Lucasfilm. So Atari gave them you said $1 million to just
they said make some games and see what happens.
Was LucasArts behind that Jedi Atari game with the lightsabers that twiddle back and forth? The very first game.
Lucasfilm Games at the time was not actually involved in that.
Yeah. Okay. I did a history of the lightsaber article, and I found I'd never heard of that game.
Right.
It took me a while to piece together till I read it verbatim. This Lucas was kind of you know what? No Star Wars games.
Yeah, no Indiana Jones. It was they waited till 87, right?
It was really smart, 10 years nearly that they actually went before they said, "Hey, here's the Star Wars license. Now go at it." Wow. And they'd already done all the adventure games by that point. They built this catalog and said, "Hey, yeah, we can actually make games." And so
one thing I was going to bring up that Chris also kind of brought up was the fact that is there a particular reason why LucasArts in the 80s and 90s favored Nintendo over like even Sony or Sega?
Not
like
in the 90s, but like later on, I'd say the Shadow of the Empire.
Well, like 96, you got a launch game, Shadows of the Empire, which was part of their big, like, this is an actual canon thing in between Empire and Jedi. And then you also had Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron.
And you had all the Super Star Wars.
You had all the Super Star Wars games. Even Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine for N64 was exclusive.
It was mainly the second Rogue Leader was kind of the first time I think you could 3D wise went into the real. You could play as characters in the original trilogy, and I was wondering when Nintendo got that favor over a PlayStation.
Well, they established a relationship because, to be honest, LucasArts was pretty late getting to the console party.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a PC company throughout all their previous history. So, to be honest, Sony comes in with PlayStation, and they kind of missed the initial boat on that. So when Nintendo came along with its options, they jumped on it then and became a sort of favored organization and had, Factor 5 doing some good stuff. But yeah, it was really that. Not necessarily they went out to do that. It just sort of happened as a result of the way that the past history had actually gone.
One of the things that is really cool about the first chapter of the book, because it's Lucasfilm. That's the title until 93 before they changed it to LucasArts.
Right.
Lucasfilm, everybody wanted to kind of get behind this one game company because they were. I'm sure there were big names back then, but they're all kind of non-existent now.
Like we had Data Tentacle. You had.
Well, it wasn't, but there's a lot of stuff. I think Rob starts off saying this company came to them like this, and that company went on to become Prodigy. Prodigy came to them with a
One of my favorite stories actually is when they started doing a project called Habitat. And this is phenomenal because this came out for the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
When Commodore 64 had a 300 baud modem. And it's an MMO. It's basically the concept of Second Life.
MMO.
And they came up with this thing and threw it out
ASCI
there.
characters?
No, Rob, the pictures in this book are pretty great. A lot of concept stuff, a lot of early stuff. This was never released here, so
right. It never actually got released here because they started doing a beta test and they threw it out there, and all of a sudden it started sucking out the bandwidth, and they were in a bandwidth which was 300 baud modems, but they went into business with a company called Quantum. And Quantum ultimately became a company shortly after they cancelled the Habitat project called America Online.
Have you heard?
Wow.
And so they were working on these things that were honestly way ahead of the times. I mean, even the word avatar to describe your online sort of persona is such a standard part of you play WoW, you play anything, you've got your avatar there. It started when a guy called Chip Morningstar, who was the designer behind Habitat, first was creating this virtual world called Habitat, and said who's in it, and said you go create an avatar. And some of the documents that those guys created, and they were LucasArts people at the time, or Lucasfilm Games people at the time, some of those documents that they created are sort of the blueprints for the entire online development, still to this day to a degree. I mean, obviously things have ramped up massively, but it took such a long time considering they were doing that in 83, 84, and now we're 20 odd years later, and that stuff is still has such sort of importance for the decisions that were made, and this was all going on at some little company that you thought was actually doing Star Wars games.
Oh, yeah. When was the first year they developed their first Star Wars game? The first game indie, right? They did indie in-house.
Yeah, they did Indiana Jones adventure games based on the Scum engine, and then they got Star Wars. They said, okay, here's the keys to the castle, and I think it was, 92, 93? They'd been, about 92. So they've been nearly 10 years with before they actually tapped into the Star Wars
Let's
license.
not forget Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Hey, no, I didn't. I have a lot of
I loved the hell out of that game. Oh my god.
One of the forgotten gems of the 16-bit era.
That's one of those games. I think last week, one of the more recent podcasts, I mentioned that I got Secret of Mana after not getting Flock for my birthday. The birthday games question, which was from last week. Zombies Ate My Neighbors was right before that, where I was like, I have to. You don't understand. Where I'm like, 12 and arguing with my parents, like, no. If I don't get Zombies Ate, it's one of those irrational games you just latch onto, and you're like, if I don't get this, I will fucking kill myself.
That's the thing I noticed about all these games. Well, before I wanted to get into that the people they hired, they like kind of refused to hire people from inside the game industry.
Like the thing on the Scum engine, did they develop that knowing that they could hire people who didn't have any experience? Because I saw the thing about Tim Schafer.
Yeah.
And like he didn't have to know how to develop a game because they could use a Scum engine.
That
to
was
do
a
it.
great passage. You said like that we can teach you how to use a Scum engine. We can't really teach you how to be creative. It is the hold on, give me a second.
Because if I don't know,
Come on. The scripting utility for Maniac Mansion.
Oh wow.
Yes,
which was on the NES. I'm sure in a very bastardized form.
That's the only hands-on time I had with Maniac Mansion. But I watched I never had a PC. I watched my friends play it on the PC.
You should get Day of the Tentacle because Maniac Mansion is inside.
What sold it is what somebody's quote from in there, because what we wanted to make was living Chuck Jones cartoons, and I'm a big, stupid cartoon nerd.
I don't believe you.
This is Daffy Duck. I mean, do I need to? Yeah.
So you have the beep 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 beep.
Daffy Duck's intro. That was it. The Scum engine was used for 10 years.
Yeah.
To create almost everything else.
All their adventure games, actually, Grim Fandango was Scum Engine.
Yeah, even on into the 3D era was that.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember, Rob. I read this week, and it's a lot of stuff. I didn't actually have a chance. That's why I wanted to have specifically Michael and Charlie on, because they actually had a lot of hands-on time with this stuff. Charlie, adventure games. Yeah, don't ho hum. I'm fascinated by these adventure games because they're humor based. Like,
why don't you go make an Animal Crossing adventure game?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you want to throw a big dumb Italian plumber at something.
There's a Mario RPG.
Yes, the guy who hasn't turned on his Nintendo systems in 3 months.
No.
That's not true. I played Animal Crossing yesterday.
No, but I'm fascinated by the old adventure titles, and
all right, I was going to say, funny you mentioned the bastardized NES version, because I'm not sure if I read this in your book or if I read it online somewhere, but
it's in my book, I'm sure.
It is. Yeah, there are actually two bastardized NES versions.
Really?
Yeah, there was a Japanese one that was done by, was it Jellicoe? Something
yes.
like that.
Really? For bases loaded, city connection idiots.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
One of the first Star Wars NES game, Namco. Namco has their own Japanese Star Wars game. That's not the JVC one I played, right?
No. JVC was the one that was released over here because they had the publishing deal.
Okay, that's right, because up until Super Star Wars.
Right.
The Super Star Wars. That's so weird. What happened to JVC after that? Just give up? We can't do anything after this license is gone.
Pretty much.
Poor JVC. Poor JVC. But what I'm fascinated with, I love the adventure games. I loved watching them. For some reason, I didn't really get that much of a kick out of playing them, mainly because I couldn't.
What?
I could never play them. And I told you, I tried to go back and play them now.
Have you ever finished an adventure game?
Yeah. yeah, like a point-and-click adventure game, but I swear, I didn't have a computer, Charlie.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a computer to do this on. I could kind of
You
watch
should have
it or
gone to
play.
your friend's house and played.
I did, but there was all that complicated save bullshit where I wasn't allowed to save a game on the computer.
The complicated thing where you have many choices of slots, unlike today where you have to like 1 slot or 2 slots.
Look, you never know when you're gonna. I would kind of just look. I gave it a shot. I'm historically knowledgeable in what happened. I just didn't get to do it. But that was another thing because I asked some users to give you a question and great name, David the Bowie asked what happened. Why don't they release these games again in any other format? And then yes, what about Steam?
Real good question, because the guys that did the Day of the Tentacle games are, making games again, and you've got Sam and Max just came out in a redesign. So it's a real good question. You can play them if you know where to look and how to look.
I know, but come on.
But they really should. I mean, there's a treasure trove there of that background of Monkey Island, and this is one of the things that you kind of hang your hat on when you've got a Monkey Island. And the jokes in that stand up today.
Yeah.
The situations stand up in any situation. Just
I played Escape, and I will say, no other game can really match that style of humor.
I had to go back and play Escape for
the worst
puzzles, and I hadn't played. That was the only one I hadn't played, and it was supposed to be the kind of not as great one, but I was laughing a lot.
It's a 3D deviation, and right? Is that
still a lot of fun?
The Grim Fandango controls where you have to rotate your guy and then walk forward.
I just think it's bizarre, especially as much as I know this man likes to repackage and sell stuff.
Right.
I know for a fact I have 11 copies of Star Wars on VHS and DVD to prove that he loves to repackage and sell stuff. Why have these games fallen into obscurity?
I think there's a different level of, honestly, it's the licenses and who owns what. And there's, whenever you try to release something like that, you've got people that did art who haven't signed off on and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, exactly. You go back into these things and it makes it kind of tricky. There are ways, methods of doing it, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be out there.
Going through that section, it's a gosh darn shame, pardon my language, that none of this is being revisited or re-released in any capacity.
So I wish they would put some of this stuff on the DS, because that just seems natural for a place.
It's ridiculous. Like, why wouldn't you?
Well, it's the smaller screen, and you're doing this sort of, there's the element of the pixel sort of search for it, but because of the DS having the stylus, so you can tap the right things. Well, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
That's the thing. That's what the studio, I think, LucasArts as a studio is remembered for. These adventure games, for the most part, and I do not want to sell short X-Wing.
Except for Gabriel Knight, those are still the best adventure games of all.
Are they LucasArts games?
Not Gabriel Knight. I'm saying besides Gabriel Knight.
It's not off topic, Charlie. Please, we'll save Gabriel Knight for this and every other podcast you're on.
But I actually have on the adventure game genre, like, do you know anything about Tim Schafer was supposed to make a Star Wars adventure game, and then it never happened?
There are a number of different Star Wars games that didn't actually come out. Schafer was on Grim Fandango when Hal Barwood was trying to make a C-3PO as the lead character.
That was
game.
An amazing. Do you have concept art of that actually in there, or
there's a bunch of details about what they were planning on doing and whether the game fit in the whole.
The New Republic, is that what it was called? It was starring C-3PO.
Wow.
And so Hal Barwood was making that at the time that Tim was finishing Grim Fandango, and Indiana. He wrote some of the Indiana Jones stuff that was actually from movie scripts that were actually rejected by Lucas as movie scripts, including one written by Chris Columbus, who did Harry Potter. And
that's because they really seem to go through a lot of cancellations, and every time they canceled an Indiana Jones or Star Wars game, it was made into a semi-successful comic.
Yeah. Well, they did a bunch of comics, but, a lot of video game companies go through cancellations, and you just don't hear about them. I mean, but a lot of people have talked about one of the appendix at the back of the book is all these logos from the Star Wars games that haven't actually ever been done and come out. And you've got these names and titles like...
Hold on. You mind if I take a look?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, there was one I had to read. Rogue Jedi. Star Wars.
That's literally just putting two words together.
Variation of Rogue and Rebel and Jedi. Rebel Scum.
What?
I don't know what that is. Scum and Villainy.
Many of these were early names for what actually became The Force Unleashed.
I see in episode 7 there.
Shadows of the Sith, episode 7. I did not get to that. I think I only read up to like 2002, 2004.
Well, because there was Star Wars Obi-Wan. So
That's right.
I guess after Obi-Wan, they might have been like, let's make Star Wars Han Solo.
Which they canceled on the PC.
They did.
I keep trying to prove to you that I actually read this book.
Well, that's Obi-Wan was great for me because when I took over at PC Gamer, my first issue was February 2000, and my first cover, I was so excited. We'll get in the Star Wars Obi-Wan exclusive. We get John Alvin, who did so many of the iconic Star Wars movie posters. He actually painted that poster. He actually just passed away not a few months ago.
Right.
So we got John Alvin to do the cover. I was so excited. We get this story out, and then they cancelled it on PC.
I never played it. Is it that bad?
It's not very good.
It came out on Xbox as a early Xbox game, and it was okay. But
then LucasArts became completely dependent on Star Wars games. I think.
Yep.
As of 2000, look at this, Charlie. As you can see, more and more games get released each and every year. The timeline in the back with all the box art, and oh my God, look what's starting to take over every single title. You guys hear me?
Yeah, it's just you're describing a picture that no one else can see.
Well, I was gonna get to an exact date. I think you said 2002. They didn't release anything but a Star Wars game.
Yeah, they just went into this whole of throw the license at every popular genre at the time, and that was strategy
or expensive console games.
Yep.
I don't know. We've talked to some people over there, and it seems like they just laid a lot of people off to try and get away from this again.
Is there a new direction at LucasArts now?
Well, to be honest, they've gone through a few new directions because they've done this where they have these powerhouse franchises. I mean, they've got Star Wars, they've got Indiana Jones, and you've got to assume that you can't really screw that up. But if you throw it at games that actually then don't do very well, that doesn't help anybody. So, in the past there was Force Commander, and it was just horrible. But by the same token, there was Jedi Knight, which was awesome, and there was the X-Wing in the past, and even Outcast and those kind of games were all really good.
I liked Renegade Squadron.
Did LucasArts have anything to do with Terrace Kasi?
Yes, didn't they?
I saw it.
Right.
Tisk.
That's in the Rob is very nice to Terrace Kasi. It just wasn't. I think that because one of the questions was, which you do cover in the book.
Questions from the forum.
It's questions from the forums. It's both Bloody Valentine and Luckless Wonder asking the same thing. What are the steps taken when coming up with an original story and characters that exist in the universe, and how do they treat canon? And I think originally it was you understand this is a game. It's going to deviate from canon a little bit, but they came into a lot more trouble when the games got more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, there are people inside Lucasfilm that are the keepers of canon.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
So, that is their job, just to know everything and then to sort of okay and approve what you're doing. But by the same token, you look at something like The Force Unleashed, and when have you ever seen The Force Unleashed in a movie or background stuff? But there was an acceptance that, hey, this is a game, so let it be gain life.
Let it be a game. If you want to adhere to canon, you'll never get to do this in a game.
Right. But that's why, every single instance where, you go back to the, Shadows of the Empire or whatever, and whenever you're going, you're flying in the TIE Fighter in, Battle of Hoth. Well, who didn't want to do that as a gamer?
The first 1,000 times.
Yeah. And then you get into these later ones, and there's so much more story. There's so much, there's a bigger universe, and so there's so many more holes that you can fill in. So you just need somebody that's going to actually sit on that canon and say this is what is okay and what isn't.
I think it's fair to say they're gonna go a little easier on the Star Wars games right now. I think a lot of this came around to the period when the new trilogy was coming out, so the strength of those movies
Except for the fact that they have a huge MMO based on Star Wars.
They do, but that's the thing. They're not going to develop that in house. I think the idea is to not use the Star Wars license in house anymore and farm it out.
They've gone through cycles of that. So they had a period where they said, okay, we've done these games that, let's face it, they're a bit shit. I mean, Force Commander, Rebellion, these are not good games.
That's just a bunch of words strung together.
So let's give the franchise to companies that know what they're doing in their respective categories. Let's give the MMO to Sony Online because they've just done an EverQuest. They obviously know MMOs. Let's go there. Let's go to Raven for the shooter. Let's go to BioWare for the RPG, and you get Knights of the Old Republic. So that works.
And you throw a lot of money behind Force Unleashed, which I don't know if you could consider a full-blown success.
Well, it sold a lot of copies in its first week. I mean, it's probably, from a numbers point, a big success. But now you've got to accept there's no more movies. So where does the story continue? Well, you can go to the Clone Wars if you must, but from a
that was very diplomatic. No, I must not. No,
or choose not to. But from the for those that are maybe, I don't know, you're all too young, but I actually saw Star Wars in the movie theater. You get that sort of sense. Where does that story come from? What are you going to do with that? And the games are where it's at, and that's where Force Unleashed actually fits. I mean, everybody I think who's played Force Unleashed said the story was terrific because it was. I mean, it answered questions that a lot of people hadn't actually even asked because they just sort of said, well, okay, this is what happened. This is the opportunity for the entire franchise, and if games are it in the future, well, hopefully we'll get some more out of it that follow that, and with a tool set and the game stuff that actually stands up and they know how to use really effectively.
I had issues with Unleashed, but none of it was a story. None of it was a story at all.
Right.
How realistic is it though to assume they're not going to make more movies? Like he seriously
he
seems
said
like
1,000 times. George Lucas has said over and over that
it doesn't matter what somebody says.
No,
it doesn't matter.
No, but you have to understand what he's talking. You didn't let me finish. Is that it makes more sense for him to put all that money into developing a TV show. If he's going to take the resources, he could develop hours of footage, not have to spend this time marketing this one movie.
Right, that show was supposed to launch last fall.
Do you know anything about that show? That show was not supposed to launch last fall.
Yes, it was. It's supposed to be fall 07.
They probably stepped out.
Clone Wars, dear. Clone Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, the one no one wanted actually came out.
Oh, that's right. The one Brett didn't want but did come out.
Oh, the one that's doing quite well.
So you all saw Clone Wars in the theater, did you?
Oh, wait, doing quite well on Cartoon Network. Not that I would ever watch it.
The animated one?
Of course they do it.
Well, it did take 25 years to get a new Star Wars movie, so we might have a bit of a wait before we get a
It's totally off. That's what somebody wanted to ask. Trip 13G. What did happen to LucasArts Adventure Division?
Well, it was never a division. It was just it was a group of guys that were making certain type of games. The sad fact of the matter is, when it got to something like Grim Fandango, which most people who played it just thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it was a little quirky. I mean, to sell the concept of a game about the Mexican Day of the Dead, you've got to be, you've got to be in the ballpark to want to sort of try that. So it didn't actually sell. It didn't make a ton of money, and there's a big question there of, okay, well, where do we go next? Particularly when you've got all these sort of Star Wars potentials, you've got a burgeoning PC market, and you've got opportunity to throw the license at categories like RTS. I mean, at that point, you've got RTSs starting to build up with, Command and Conquer type stuff. Well, let's go do that then. And that makes sense from a business standpoint, unless you churn out Force Commander.
It's funny. There's no one's going to complain about most of the way Star Wars would branch out in other genres. Everybody kind of wants to see that anyway. This is important. I mean, Twishart did ask, is there any way, in all caps, any way we'll see a sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors? Besides, what was it, Ghoul Patrol?
Yeah,
no.
You could say that, what was it, Monster Madness was an attempt to make a spiritual sequel that failed.
Nope. I reviewed that, and I don't want to talk about that.
That's what they said. It's like, we're trying to make one...
you made a super floaty...
Again.
Gross.
What about Tim Schafer and Brutal Legend? That's still without a home, isn't it?
It's going to find a home, isn't it? I would be very surprised. No, it's not going to find a home at Lucas.
Yeah, I didn't get to the point where Tim Schafer made an exit. Did he depart on good terms? It seems like he did. He was pretty.
People move on, and that's one of those things. In dealing with a sort of.
You talked to all these people for the book.
Yep.
There we go. Rob did his research.
Yeah, no, I talked to pretty much most of the people that are quoted in there. I mean, there was a lot of interviews done by some people that George Lucas actually set up for an internal history that never got published, and so all those interviews are in there. And so, yeah, I mean, we talk about who. There's so many people that worked at the company over 25 years. I couldn't talk to everybody, but we talked to Tim about where he was and what he was doing. Of course, he's got terrific stories. I mean, and other people had stories about Tim. About how he got hired. And I mean, honestly, one of my favorite stories in the book was him coming in and saying, "Yeah, I played that game, Ball Blaster. It was awesome." And they were like, "Ball Blaster? You mean the pirated version?"
Which he admitted, yes, he had all his experience with a pirated game, because apparently that was one of the first.
Yeah, it was the Ball Blazer, as it was pirated, but an early version got released, and people played it
before it hit retail shelves.
Because it sat in sort of production hell or publishing hell for even back in 1983.
1983. I didn't know people were pirating games as early as 83. I didn't.
Well, some of the things that you accuse people of today, when you see that video on E3 and you go, "Oh, there's no way that's actual in-engine," and then, "Oh, it really is," and they did that with some of the early games like Rescue and Fractalus, and they actually showed it at CES on the TV, and the Associated Press there that were looking at this game said, "Oh, there's no way that's on any system. That's got to have been, some video." And they were looking behind the curtain, literally looking behind the curtain for the video recorder, and it was actually coming from the machine.
I do what? Oh, we have to wrap this up. We're going long. The pictures in the book, especially they showed them making the models for the cover of the early Atari games, which are it's just a cool process before digital imaging that they were. Is that what they were doing? They were fashioning models to take pictures of to put on the cover.
They took real photos of real people who made real props. And the real people, I mean, a bunch of the people on Rescue and Fractalus, it was those guys in their helmets and spacesuits stood in front of a screen to take a photo. I mean,
a lot of the Rebel Assault. Assault, which I thought was like the next best thing to a new Star Wars movie at the time. I didn't realize how wrong I was until way later. But yeah, the pictures in the book are great. There's like a lot of full-page images, concept art.
We went through the archives. We dug out what we could. That would make sense. And
I like the anti-piracy wheels for the pirate for Escape from Monkey Island stuff. I thought you usually think you'll never see again outside of eBay. But yeah, and this is a good question because this seems like a no-brainer. The first one is every Star Wars game run by the big guy first? I mean George Lucas, not God. LOL.
Yes. I mean, George signs off on the stories, and particularly when right now, when they're pitching stuff, it all goes through what's called OG meetings, Operation George. So they have to go in prepared, and they pitch their ideas, and they say, this is what we want to do, and he says, that's a brilliant idea, let's go, or more likely, that's a terrible idea, and here's why, and shapes the direction, because I guess his real skill there is storytelling, and everybody who's been in those meetings has said this is what he brings and this is what he gives, and that's how Force Unleashed has come out. This is how other things that will come beyond have come out.
Oh, that's right. He was the one parading it at Best Buy stage. This was his special guest was George Lucas. It was a block away from my house. I'm like, it's not going to be special. It was George Lucas.
We were all hoping it was going to be Peter Mayhew, and it was George Lucas.
Peter Mayhew. This is just a.
I want to know why their logo was a gold dude.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Isn't he just called Gold Guy?
It is called Gold Guy, yeah. I mean that's just logo design.
Kind of like
that's George Lucas's inner child.
That's right. That's his soul escaping. Yes,
that's his soul captured.
I kid the Lucas. Are there any plans to make next gen versions of Star Wars Battlefront? How could they not? That's
I've got to say that's going to happen. I mean, those games. Yeah,
I've liked every one.
Yeah,
or Star Wars Demolition.
Well, you saw the logos.
This is asked by Bloody Valentine in our forum.
You saw the logos at the back. There's a lot of names out there.
And then I want to. Indiana Jones' latest game. It's canceled, right?
Nope.
Oh.
No, you don't think so?
No, I'm sure it's not. That game's going to happen. Think about that. That engine is the first time it was used was Force Unleashed. And that's the first time it came together, because there were so many disparate parts of it that had to get put together to make something happen. Indiana Jones can take those parts and do a pretty unique adventure. I don't know.
I heard pretty good things from people who've actually seen it in action, so I've never been lucky enough to see it.
So, the versions that have been seen in action are before the engine that they've got going now, and I haven't seen anything, so I'm totally talking out of school here, but I've no doubt that at least the engine that they've got powering that thing is going to be pretty impressive for what they initially wanted to do. How that game design's come out, we'll see, but cancelled? No, on.
Surprise! Oh, I hope not. All right, when we get back, we will. But thank you, Rob. What's the book called again? Let's give it.
It's called Rogue Leaders, not Rouge Leaders.
Rouge Leaders, and on the cover is lenticular.
It's called Lenticular.
Lenticular.
So it's actually 4 images all blended into one, and depending on how far away you look at it from distance, it's Darth Vader, it's Lego Indy, it's Guybrush Threepwood, and the Purple Tentacle.
The Purple Tentacle.
All blended together.
I had it on my coffee table all weekend, so I just walked by as things flashed at me.
Yeah, they do that. And it's by me, and it's got a foreword by George Lucas, and
right.
It's available at all good bookstors. And is that
lots of great art? Can we call it a coffee table book?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got over 300 images in there. Most, a lot of which haven't been seen before. They're from the archives, and I don't know. If you played any of the LucasArts games, I think it's pretty interesting.
Where do you recommend people pick it up at?
You can pick it. You can order it right now at Amazon.com. They're shipping them December 1st, and then you can get it from the ChronicleBooks.com website. And I know that PC Gamer's latest issue has got a PDF of one of the sample chapters, and they also have a promotion code to get a few dollars off. So there's a few options out there. Otherwise, just ping me at PTOM and I'll let you know where to find it.
If you're my friend on Facebook, I believe I'm listed as a fan of the book. So.
Right, there is a Facebook fan page, so I keep checking that out in case anybody asks a question.
Would you say it makes a good holiday gift or a great holiday gift?
I personally would say great, but that's because I'm biased.
I think it's the best possible gift anybody could expect to receive for Hanukkah. Big book of Star Wars or Lucasarts. Sorry, but I tend to get all beamy when I see a lightsaber because I'm a child. All right, you gonna hang around with us?
Absolutely. Unless you're kicking me off.
No, we got some.
I've done my pimping, but I'll hang out.
We're gonna get some more beer.
Good.
We're gonna drain our bladders. We're gonna talk about some super stupid news. But here's a tease for that. Shut up. All right, this is the final round of the Games Radar Spelling Bee. Darth Vader, your word is TalkRadar.
As you wish.
Brett Elston, use it in a sentence.
I swear to God, I've never laughed so hard as I did when listening to TalkRadar 15.
TALC.
Sorry.
Go to GamesRadar.com.
Super Mario is back. He's blasting through worlds where no one has ever been. He's taking on enemies no one else dares. This time Mario plucks up power wherever he goes, so he's bigger and badder than ever before. You've never seen creatures like these. You've never had an adventure like this. It's everything you've dreamed of and worlds more. It's Super Mario 2, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
But your father and I have talked. You are not to play Mario Kart for 3 weeks.
No!
Sands of Time, that was Killers, Smile Like You Mean It. Elston's choice.
I know, I mentioned last week that Hot Fuss, some of the tracks were coming to Guitar Hero. They came to Rock Band this week, so...
but it's still not enough for the boy. He loves his Killers.
I love my goddamn Killers.
You said Hot Fuss the whole album, and that really seems like a given.
It does. I'm surprised they did this, and just it's a track pack with like Mr. Brightside, Smile Like You Mean It, and a couple other things.
Yeah, that really does put a damper on if they even did release the full album, because you just have to buy 9 more tracks. Yeah.
Which I haven't played them yet, so I'm just assuming. I love those songs. I just assume Smile Like You Mean It is going to be really fun to play. It's got a good guitar solo, good drums, good lyrics. I think
back when I made my list of Rock Band songs I wanted, which amazingly they somehow addressed almost all. The only ones that really suck are the Nine Inch Nails ones.
Yeah.
Which are one of my favorite Nine Inch Nails songs, March of the Pigs. Good God.
Most of those Nine Inch Nails, like Perfect Drug I like, and it's terrible. It's horrible to play. But before we digress any longer...
Oh my God, I meant to talk about this last break. I think is horrible news this week for one of your competitors, Zips, considering closing EGM. Ooh, I love EGM. I always have. I've had a subscription since a little boy. I don't want to see them go away.
The first issue of EGM I ever got was Street Fighter II, a pixelated sprite of Ken punching on Blanca's stage. Very serious business, 5th grade, sir.
It's a great magazine, and I hope it stays around, and I don't see it just because of the business this day. I mean, we all know printing magazines is an expensive business, and God, it would be great if EGM would stick around because they do good stuff. They
That's what I was kind of wondering, because our company decided to focus on different platforms, and I thought I've always subscribed to these magazines, but I've always liked multi-platform magazines.
We've always had a different philosophy. I mean, we do the single platforms. I mean, what's the one thing you can tell me about the person that gets PC Gamer? They're a PC gamer.
Yeah, exactly.
About OXM, they have an Xbox.
I never thought this is the right way to go until I thought about it like that. Like,
well, it's a way to spread the word. So, I mean, from a publishing standpoint, if you want to say, hey, my system's coming out, so around the launch of Xbox 360, well, where are you going to put, the next Halo? Go for a multi-platform, because those people are not necessarily owning your system. And if you want to sell your system on the back of that, well, that makes an awful lot of sense. But if you want to sell your game on a platform, then you go to a single format. I mean, these are all different balls in the air for who thinks, the right way of going about that particular part of the business. But the upshot is that there's a role for all of these magazines. There's a role for multiple formats because some people have multiple systems. There's a role for single platforms because, and we focus our coverage based around what we know. Every one of our readers has a PlayStation of some color, shape, or number. And we can base our coverage around that very topic. Well, if you're an EGM, you base your coverage around the fact that we cover the video game industry. You apply it that way. And there's room for all of them. And I really hope it sticks around.
That's what I always thought. What do you think the odds are? I mean, because if it's just closing it, they close the PC.
I think the fact that EGM is the only print magazine left in Ziff Davis stable that once had PC Magazine and many, many others in the past, but PC Magazine just...
Including EGM 2. A sequel!
But not quite.
Which became Tips and Tricks.
Tips and Tricks, my very favorite magazine of all time.
Nobody read that magazine.
Tips and Tricks, my favorite magazine.
By Flint Publications. I was expecting the...
I can't find it right now. There it is!
Video game magazine published by Hustler?
Was that it?
And Video Game Magazine. It was called Video Game Magazine.
But to be
Video
fair,
Frank O'Connor
I thought that was Tips and Tricks.
Frank O'Connor of Bungie and former future famer OXM works at Flint Public. Oh God, I'm showing my age. I don't know. I'm just gonna shut up.
That's all right. I love the idea that you were getting assets on a floppy disk.
But to be fair, how many times, I've read that EGM is closing for about 2 years now.
That's right. Because I don't know. I love One Up. Hopefully it'll just. I hope no. Because I heard what was the PC magazine that closed? I'm not a PC dude. The
Games for Windows.
Yeah. Well, recently the other one that.
Oh, PC Magazine.
PC Magazine just closed, but they didn't let go any of their editorial staff.
No, because they're all doing online. I mean, they've got a very strong online presence, and I would imagine that's the way because EGM's been running the EGM One Up integration.
Right. Exactly. They seem like hopefully they're prepared. I love One Up. I love EGM.
If you work in print magazine production,
that's okay. I don't care about the tree killers and the paint people. No, but if this is showing our age, I have somebody who's even worse. Bill Cosby. The cause is angry with the video game industry. The cause is angry. Does anybody do a Bill Cosby impression? Charlie.
I do not.
I know you do a Bill Cosby impression.
I know you do one, Chris.
I don't.
Something about pudding.
Except for Steven and Tyler, who are both these really weird Bill Cosby fans.
I'm a Bill Cosby fan. I just don't do an impression.
Cosby Show fans.
That's it.
Is there any other kind of Cosby fan?
I guess I like his stand-up, but whatever. Okay, but he's become a complete and total curmudgeon. Hates everything and everybody, but he's kind of his job is to be one man with a microphone, and people are still letting him do it at the age of 149. So I got this from one of my personal favorite periodicals, the Mississippi Greenwood Commonwealth. Which is, okay, let me get my best Bill Cosby.
I love it already.
He's shaping his face.
Okay. No?
Grand Theft Auto cost your mother $250 to buy so that you could practice your entrance exam to prison.
Practice your what?
Entrance exam, Brett Elston.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cosby. I can't understand what you're saying.
That is, I think Cosby is The Walking Dead.
Additionally, The drug dealer is not in your culture, nor is the prostitute a glorified pimp. If you teach black pride, they have no pride. They don't know. Bill Cosby. Why are people letting Bill Cosby speak? This is my favorite. It's not related to games, but his next quote was on hair extensions. Don't pin Korean hair on your black head.
Okay.
And then this is all around the internet, just to know. This is all over the web. So this is the Bill Cosby ESPN bumper.
Oh yeah.
This is football night on ESPN 2, 5, and 6. But it's the Temple Owls against the Ohio U Chitlin Lakes.
He's literally a parody of himself.
How the fuck did that happen? Because I thought
It's
my
not
impression
nice
was
to
bad.
laugh at senility.
Was that Bill Cosby or was that Joe Namath?
That was the that was the real cause. That was the real cause. So wait, did we want to talk about the Black Friday deals?
We're kind of long.
Remember off the top of your head?
Segue there from Black Friday to Black Friday.
Oh my goodness, I did not.
We've got
do
a
that.
whole article going up. We can tease it.
We have an article going up on Black Friday. A lot of great something I read on The Consumerist that Sam's Club reportedly let somebody swap out their Red Ring 360 for a new 360. I know, Rob, you're smiling knowingly. Oh, the Red Ring.
Mine just red ringed.
Did it really?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Ours did too. Our office one did.
And it's one of those that's first off the production line 3 years ago when I was at OXM and just under the warranty time, I hope.
I think they extended it 3 years, so I think we're all still covered. I know, because honestly, it's just a matter of when and not if. I think we all feel that way.
Mine's done it 4 times.
Have any of you guys on the new Xbox experience? Does it freeze all the time for you?
Yeah,
No.
mine does. Mine chokes a little bit, and then I'm like, oh god, and then it finally catches
Yeah, it's like
up.
loading up the avatars, that little circular stone drop thing, freezes.
I think I defrag once a month.
Oh, your 360?
That was a dumb Microsoft joke. Hold on, let me give myself the bomb noise. There we go.
That giant bomb.
Oh, Charlie, you get this.
Let's move on to my question of the week.
Ooh! Wait. What was the question last week?
Question of the week last week was, what game conjures up birthday memories for you? Which
Rob, I have to hear if Rob has one of these.
Birthday memories.
Yeah, like a game that you associate, either it came out on your birthday or you remember getting one for your birthday.
Oh.
Something, just a game that you're like,
I don't think games were invented yet.
that knocked the headphones off his
When
head.
Rob was having
That is not nice,
The
Charlie.
sad thing is, the day I went to was 1983. The game was called School Days. It came out very close to my birthday in August. It was on the ZX, because we didn't have a Z, we had a Z. ZX Spectrum.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the Spectrum. I read about that on our UK site.
I think I saw something about that on the History Channel. Sepia tone footage of it with Ken Burns.
It's before the History Channel. It's
Something
before
like Churchill's favorite
That
console.
was Europe's gaming machine through most of the 80s.
That was my birthday present with my first Sinclair Spectrum, as it was at the time.
Was it DAYS or DAZE?
It's DAZE School Days, and you had to go to class and answer questions. So there was educational value for all the parents out there.
Games.
And then there was the taking out the catapult and or avoiding the bully punching in the face when you saw them. And I don't know. I'm sure that if I played it today, I'd think it was possibly the worst game ever made. But my memory of it is one of being, oh my god, I've got to get back from school. And
That was the point we set out to make, is that almost everything you got on your birthday at a young age, you have some weird tie to, no matter how bad, how good.
So my favorite, I had a favorite best response that's actually genuinely kind of aw, and then one that's like, ugh.
All right, let's see if I can get that ready.
One from someone who actually apparently signed in and registered just to post this. Only has one post. Celtic Kinder.
Oh, he's good.
Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, which is Lizzie's favorite game, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Here's his post. My parents didn't believe in video games. The only thing I had access to was a television that hadn't worked for years and a Tandy 1000 preloaded with crap. For my 12th birthday, my older brother and sister pulled their money and bought me a Game Boy and Mario Land 2, my first real video game.
Aww.
12 years old. He said he would sneak into the room and found it before he got it, and he said he must have read the back of the box 20 times before he actually got the game, just sneaking in just to read it. Because I remember being a kid and obsessing over that, just being like, oh my god, and I wouldn't open it. I would never take that next step.
That's what I did with Donkey Kong Country. Like, I would know exactly where my mom kept it in her bedroom. I'd sneak in there, just take it out, and just reading. I'm going to get this in a month.
The saddest thing I ever did like that was, remember the He-Man character Buzz-Off, who was a bee? I cut him out of the back of the box because I didn't get that figure, and I played with the cutout as if it were a real figure.
Was sad.
Was it Rabbit who told the story? I did the exact same thing where you found your NES, you carefully unwrapped it, would late at night hook it up, stuff everything back in its bags, tie the cords back up.
I was like 5 when I got mine. I didn't think of
I was
that.
like 8. I was like 8.
Oh, you hadn't received it yet?
No, I found where they were hiding it. Eventually, my parents hid my presents in neighbors' houses.
Did they hide it originally?
Oh, we had just built this house. Because we're well-to-do, and
in the swamps of Florida.
No, there was just we had a lot of attic space, like weird places you didn't like. I don't understand why my dad. I was already running around in the rafters and in between the walls already. There really wasn't anywhere you could hide anything.
Yeah.
I knew I had it scoped out.
Yeah, we had a huge attic. They
had a building locked down.
They tried hiding shit in the attic, and I would just climb up there.
Attic. That's amateur.
But the saddest one is from.
Wait, I just want to say I like his choice of words there that his parents didn't believe in video games.
Yeah.
He asked for video games and video games are just a story that kids make up to scare their parents.
I go catch some snipe.
Those don't exist.
The saddest one is from someone named, man, I wish people would make words I could read. Aromicard. Aromicred. Whatever.
Good. I think you were just about to hit a racial slur there.
Yeah. Spider-Man Friend or Foe, it's the only game I've gotten on my birthday seriously.
Oh.
Let me know when your birthday is. I will send you a good game on you. I'm not fucking kidding. That would break my heart. I will send you a good game on your birthday.
He should divorce his parents and have you as his new dad.
I don't need any kids.
But I told the story.
That's a great contest. Be adopted by Brett Elston. Coming up this week.
And that great game will be St. Bears Extreme Sports Challenge.
Berenstain Bears
or Neopets.
And I can't believe I told a story about a game that came out before you bastards weren't even born.
I was born.
Oh, we were all born.
Barely.
I was 3 years old.
I was 5 years old.
I was
two.
I was Chuck Norrising in my mother's womb.
Kabam. So my question this week, question 13, which I will post in the forums. You answer. I will read the best response next week. It's the exact opposite of Thanksgiving, which is this week, and probably when you're listening to this, Thanksgiving is about what are you thankful for? What are you thankful to have or have received? My question this week is game related. What's the biggest loss you have endured? Like data loss, game was stolen, something like that. I have 2 examples that might set the stage. For data loss, Banjo-Kazooie N64, I was at 24 hours into the game, had every Jiggy Jango Jiggly Doo-Doo and whatever the fuck those things are called in everything and every level.
Notes, puzzles.
Yeah, I was on the last stage, and when you're familiar with menus, you just start. I know what to do. A left, A left, A, and you're just going through the menus to load up your save game. I deleted my game in about 3 seconds.
I was gonna say Nintendo was pretty good about not deleting your shit,
and it was rare. And they're just like, there was no do you want to? It was just delete, gone. I was and had that I'm gonna throw up because I just lost 24 hours. And this is I'm 17, so 24 hours of my life is what? I might jump out my window. So that made a big impact to me, to where I still remember. And also, my Game Boy was stolen in 7th grade, and all my games. I did kick that kid literally in the ass, though. so a good from behind.
Please tell me that was at your mid-20s. She found your revenge.
No, I was 13. A good. You come up behind, the foot goes right into the nuts. The tip of the toes pointing out of their crotch, pow, up on the tip of their toes. Oh!
If there was a picture, it just looked like a semicircle of blur.
And of course I got in trouble, but whatever.
Oh yeah, they don't know the rest.
They don't know that fucker stole my Game Boy.
Rick's.
So,
Who else got what? I say it's lost. I may have told this story before, but my parents don't like video games. I barely got a Super Nintendo. I don't remember how I got it, but I didn't really have anything on it. For some reason, I decided it was time to get a Genesis. So I had to save it's going to make me sound old, $2 I got for lunch every day in middle school. I had to save that up by not eating for about 6 months. And I had to eat dare-based meals that my peers would set up, which most of the time, let's see, how many donuts you think you eat? I don't know, like 11. Oh, you think you can eat 11 donuts? Yeah, well, alright. So someone would buy me enough food so I'd eat on a dare, and I somehow still lost weight. What's up, motherfuckers?
Now I'm in a coughing fit in my wonderful health.
In a loss, I was talking to Henry about that. The Dreamcast, for some reason, the data was bad, and I lost a Sonic Adventure save. No big deal. Blue Stinger, which I thought was a great game.
No,
I lost hours and hours and hours worth of progress in a game I thought I was enjoying. Apparently, I've been told I'm wrong because I never went back to it. Rob, what do you think? Blue Stinger, one for the ages?
No idea.
You weren't working at Dreamcast magazine?
No, that was. I was PC Gamer at the time. PC all the way.
Wow, you must have really hated the fucking Dreamcast then.
Well, it seemed like a good. I own one.
But here it comes. They're very. I own like 2, and I have no idea why.
I bought mine off eBay with a bunch of
games.
They
have Quake over modem.
They have Virtua Tennis. Fantastic.
Virtua Tennis.
Four controllers, Virtua Tennis. Until. Yeah, but what a fantastic party game.
Lost hours on the Dreamcast with Virtua Tennis plugged
Crazy
into
Taxi.
A Killer Instinct arcade machine. Very bizarre. Oh, Killer Instinct arcade machine.
There, that's all I wanted.
Sorry. Who's next? Who's going next?
I've actually got 2 stories like this. The first is well known to longtime TalkRadar listeners because with Little Big Planet, when we got that in, I was designing a level for this contest Sony was running for games journalists, and like the day before the contest deadline, my save got corrupted, and I lost everything that I'd done. It had taken me I'd been working for days on this level. So then I just went and spent the day remaking it from memory, and I don't know. I guess it turned out okay in the end. But the one that actually,
how did it do?
Did okay. It got a runner-up in that contest, and
that's right. You got to mention on the website.
I did. Which the GamePro won, and Destructoid was the other honorable mention.
They be in the Buzz trivia too. I still don't like them.
But there was one that was really crushing to me. That when I was a kid, I was in love with Zelda 2. That game was like just weeks and months of my time playing through that stupid thing. And I remember it took me like weeks before I figured out how to get the down thrust and all that stuff. But anyway, a friend of mine convinced me to lend it to him, and I think I was on like the second to last palace in the game or something, and so I didn't really want to, but I lent it to him anyway. And like a week later, he calls me up and tells me that his little brother got on the game and started playing and deleted my save so that he could start his own. And I went fucking berserk. I remember I was like crying and just like, oh my god, that's months of my life.
God damn it! That's why I think to this day, let me finish it first. No matter how close I am to actually finishing it, you can't have it until I'm done. Even if they're CDs, which are very hard to erase the saves on. Charlie.
One, I think happened to a lot of people, was with Crackdown.
Really?
Brett and I played that game into not to the wee hours of the morning, because we played until like lunchtime sometimes.
We played from like 9 p.m. till 7 a.m.
I got that game. I went to my city, and Brett's like, "Oh, may I join you in your city?" He was very polite, and he came in.
Yes,
I'd be delighted. And then he came in, and I think we just lost track of time. We were like watching the sunrise together in Crackdown's world. I built my agent up. We ran across the city, getting all those stupid green orbs to build up our agents, and then they sent us the code for the downloadable content, so you get some like extra agents and some extra vehicles, and that code actually deleted all my stuff and deleted everybody's stuff. That
really? Oh, I remember that.
You downloaded the DLC, within like the first week. If you wait a week, they patched it. But before that week, like, oh yeah, your agent's gone. Sorry about that. No patch, no real apology. Just like, yep, yeah, it's gone.
So let it into 360.
It was especially because all those memories for Brett were gone and lost. And I didn't take enough photos.
You and guys were running hand in hand through the Mexican drug lord's condo.
We're carrying Batwomen's corpses across the city and throwing them at each other. That was just as special.
So did you get the triple-decker fat lady flip achievement?
I don't remember that one.
Apparently it wasn't funny. Let's just move on.
Okay, anyway, the other one, which was even affected me even more, was, and I've had to admit I played this game twice now on the podcast, which is The Sims 2. I'd spend hours and hours, like, sitting next to Cherry, my girlfriend. She'd be like, carefully creating my family and like recreating myself in the game. Like, I think your eyebrows are a little bit further apart. Make them a little bit thicker. Your eyes should be this color brown. And I get, it's me. That's me in the game. And I had a son in the game, and I lost it all. I built a house, a beautiful dream home, and I lost it all. I've actually lost sleep over that because I'd rather live in that world. That was a great world I built. It's all gone, and I'm stuck in this world with you.
I rarely say this, but you deserve it.
This is before I even knew you. What did I do to deserve it?
I don't know. I think you saw me coming. You're hot.
My biggest lost stuff story has to be around, and this is just completely randomly awkward, but actually accurate. The book. I was about 3 months into reading a bunch of these interviews that had been done. I got tons of notes, thousands of words done, and I had a hard drive meltdown, and I lost everything. And that was about, I'm gonna say, 4 months, maybe 5 months into hardcore work. And I tell you, it wasn't The Sims, so it didn't quite generate the kind of tears that Charlie might have.
Lose the son.
Yeah, I didn't lose a son over it, but
you already had the advance, so techno.
Yeah, but I lost everything. The only thing, coming into work saying, "Please save my machine." It didn't matter what I got for the magazine stuff. I just wanted to save my book, and it wasn't there. I had to start from scratch.
That just gives me chills even thinking about it.
I had to do that with previews, but not.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, some of these interviews were sort of 40,000 words that I'd actually read through and done notes on, and all this kind of. Oh, it was painful. But as Charlie says, it wasn't the sun, so therefore, it pales in comparison.
And again, you made a lot of moves, though. You must have lost some gaming.
Yeah, I mean, certainly back in the old days, all you need is a bit of a dodgy floppy disk for those. Those that deal with a floppy disk. But SimCity 2000 was a huge deal in our office, and everybody was competing to try and get to the what was it called? Oh, I'm going to forget the word now. There was the massive thing that you could get in SimCity, and it was before you could fill every spot on it before you got liftoff into outer space at the end of SimCity 2000, and I got most of the way there, and then I got just I'm going to take the disc home and load it on my machine at home, and you get, one fingerprint on a floppy disk, and all of a sudden it's making noises just like that.
That's why I lost in PC games, because if anything goes wrong, it always goes wrong.
SimCity 2000 lost everything.
I'm a console boy.
I lost an entire hard drive once because lightning struck my neighbor's backyard.
That actually happened to you?
Yeah.
It's tragic.
I got a new computer out of it.
I have surge protectors out the Really? For the surge protector company?
No, my bought a new computer.
Oh, okay. Well, fine.
Sure we
but
will.
all right, let's get some teases out of the way. Yeah, everybody. Next week, I think I'm gonna have another podcast for you, and then possibly a beauty pageant of customization fads.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
By the time since it's Thursday, you've already had 2 days to read my thing on the new Xbox Experience avatars, and I think I tried making some celebrity and game character ones, and it's interesting because I got about halfway to actually making them look what they're supposed to look like, but it's also more interesting because of how far I still had to go, because they just have so few options in there.
They really do. They kind of want everything to look exactly the same.
So it's kind of like a kindergartner trying to recreate these things. So go and laugh at my efforts.
It's a step up from Lego. Aww.
I'm working on stuff for the following week, so I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. Give him some.
I've been planning. I was in a meeting with you. I've been in a meeting with everybody. So
One word.
Pretty. Seriously.
Pretty.
which you should have.
There you go.
Nickel.
By this point, I'm sure I will have finished the massive clusterfuck that has been my comic versus fighting game mashups article. And you should go read it, assuming it hasn't gotten us sued and we no longer operate. We've been assassinated. But yeah, and then I'm working on next week's top 7, which is about something I forget. So you better remember it.
On top of things with Michael Rob, what do you have not to promote? You have...
Well, we have PlayStation the Official Magazine holiday issue, Alpha Protocol, on newsstands right now. So, yeah, go buy that because it's actually pretty good if you give it a chance.
Much on it. It says Best RPG of 09. See it here first.
You know what's inside there.
Which Alpha Protocol is by Obsidian, right?
That's correct.
The KOTOR 2 people?
KOTOR 2 people.
Coder.
Yeah. So that should be pretty good. Looking forward to it.
What else do you have?
Well, there's also this book.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, go check out the book. It's good. Rogue Leaders: The Story of LucasArts by me.
Rogue Leaders. I sat down. I read almost all in one sitting. Just it's a lot of great art in there. A lot of just I don't know. I may have already said that a lot of concept stuff that I just find it captivating. All right, we're gonna have to get out of here. We're really long at this point. Can't seem to amend that. I'm gonna let Brett take us out. Brett Elston take us out.